So first, let's give an appropriate shout out to any veterans that we have in the audience. I can't thank you enough for my safety, my liberty, and that of my family and friends. Thank you so much for your service to this country and your sacrifices of you and your family. But one thing that comes up from some of my students, I haven't had this with a client yet, thank God, but I've had it with a lot of students, is I get former military folks that are now civilians and they're in my CCW class and they have questions about the training that they received versus civilian training. Now, some people know this, some people don't. In Arizona, and I assume in other states as well, mere presentation of your DD-214 documents to the authorizing licensing agency will usually allow you to get your CCW permit and to bypass a course. Okay, if that's what you want to do, that's fantastic. But here's the problem with that. If you don't take a course in that state to get your CCW permit, you're not familiar with that state's particular self-defense laws. I think that's probably the best few hours and money you're ever going to spend, is to make sure that you are aware of the actual legalities and illegalities of your weapon choice, your weapon use, etc. And even if you don't need the education, to be able to prove in court that you got the education can be the difference between you and freedom. I've had a lot of veterans in my class that were veterans of multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and standard rules of engagement there, if you are attacked by the enemy and they are down, it's oftentimes the case as you run past the body to advance down the range that you might want to put a shot in that bad guy's head to make sure he can't shoot you from behind as you advance. That's how some of the units over there are taught, and I certainly see the obvious benefit of that and the wisdom of that in a combat theater. If you try that in a parking lot, in a Walmart, you're going to go to prison for the rest of your life for murder. You can't ever deliver a coup de grace just to be sure. That's inexcusable overuse of lethal force. You can't legally do that as a civilian. So get some training from somebody that you respect, and you're probably going to find that you're teaching them more than they're teaching you, but it's called sharing. And let's work together to make sure that you understand the civilian rules of engagement, aka the self-defense laws in your state, and that you comport your behavior to follow that. And again, even if you don't need the training, it's good to show that you got the training, because juries like that. They like to have it spoon-fed that you do in fact know those laws.